We're live, baby. Big news to drop today. This is our first ever breaking news segment on BDGE. Many more to come. Many more to come if I'm right. Very, very many less if I'm wrong. We got some news about Dalvin Cook today. Some news about Dalvin Cook that no one else could possibly get. I call it life serendipity. Right place, right time. Link is up. We need 12 people to join this fantasy mock draft. And I'm going to break the Dalvin Cook news today when Dalvin Cook gets drafted in this draft, which will be around, I don't know, maybe around 3, maybe around 9, maybe around 7. But we're going to be drafting for a long time. So come hang out with us. The way you get into these streams, the way you get into the draft is via our Discord. It's free to join. Link is down below. We draft on the Underdog Fantasy app. The Underdog Fantasy app is goated. It's the best app out there. Cleanest UI, cleanest interface. People are drafting at all hours of the day. 1 a.m., 1 p.m., noon, dinner, lunch, happy hour, breakfast, midnight snack. Doesn't matter. People are fiending on the Underdog app. If you don't have it, there's a link in the description that will allow you to download it. No matter what platform you're on, no matter what kind of fucking phone you use a flip phone, they developed an app for it, okay? Remember, if it's your first time on there and you're depositing for the first time, $10, just a little old $10, just use our little old promo code, little old BDGE. As a code, it'll get you 100% deposit match. We need 7 people to fill it up. Oh, we're live. Oh, people are fiending right now. We got a lot of people piling in. What happened to Cook? We're going to get to the Cook news when Cook gets drafted in the fantasy draft. I promise it's not just clickbait. We got actual news. We have Dalvin Cook news. Guys, we need 7 more. We need 7 more in the draft. This is the slowest I've ever seen one of these drafts fill. What is going on? I'm not tucking until D Cook news. I respect that. Need 7 for Underdog draft on YouTube. We'll throw it up on Twitter. Dolphins. Not. My shirt is black, not. Sorry. I'm back. Okay, so we're going to run through this fantasy football draft. We are going to draft against 11 other people, so it'll be 12 teams. Let me throw Underdog up on the screen so we can share it with you. There I am. There's little old me. Okay, well, we need 5 more, 4 more, something like that. And as we're getting ready to start the stream, hit me with some questions. Cannot play Underdog here in Scotland. What are you even doing playing fantasy in Scotland, to be honest? This man is trolling so hard. I don't troll. I don't believe in jokes. I don't think they're funny. How do we get on the drafts with y'all? Join our Discord. The Discord is free to join. That is where I drop the links to all the drafts. That is where you can join dynasty leagues that we organize for you guys, these best ball drafts we organize. What was the news with Cook? We're going to talk about when he gets drafted. Join Discord. Yes, sir. How many we need? We need 2 more. Let's go, people. What are we doing here? And we are full. Off to the races. I'm at pick 11. Someone take Cook 1 overall. Someone's for sure going to take Cook number 1 overall. Hey, Chair Force 1. I like that. Best damn sport in the world, because I have to do something in sunny Scotland in wintertime. That's fair. That's fair. All right. Well, we have the 11 pick. I don't think I've picked from this late in the draft. We'll see. We'll see where he goes. Dalvin Cook not expected to be released here. We'll get to that when we get to it. It's possible he had a change of heart, but it's also possible he didn't, and we've got the fucking soup. Can this draft start? Draft an 8, 7, 6, 4, 7, 3, 2. Does Jimmy B beat Jokic? Not a fucking chance. The Nuggets are. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a sweep. They're so well rested. Baker. All right, we got Jay Jeff off the board first. Jamar Chase. Only one with a shield, easy money. I'd say you're easy money. You're stupid enough to waste all your money. So with all the wide receivers going super early on Underdog, these drafts that I have you guys join with me on Discord are just a 12-team league. These are normal leagues where you're playing for the full 16, 17 weeks. These aren't tournaments where you need the highest scoring players. You need to hit upside. I mean, you do, but you're looking to build a well-rounded team. Whereas I feel like with the tournaments on Underdog, you're trying to hit upside. You're trying to build unique builds and stuff like that. So it pushes it into specific directions. So I'm going to draft today as if I'm doing like a season, like a home league, like a season-long league. I don't think I'm going to push too far towards wide receivers like you're seeing on this platform too much. I haven't seen Kelsey fall this far. Let's see if he makes it here. I wouldn't take Kelsey at the 11 in my home league, I don't think. This is half PPR. You start 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a quarterback. So if Eckler falls to me at the 11 in a real league, I'm probably going to grab him there. I like Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Saquon Barkley. I actually have Saquon above Eckler. He keeps falling like really far in these because I guess it's because he's not showing up to OTAs. But Eckler going to play in LA. They didn't really add anything at the running back position. I think they might. Add a vet eventually, but I'm gonna grab him here. I'm really gonna draft as if I'm drafting like my season long league. Boy. There goes CeeDee Lamb and Saquon. All right, well, Saquon was probably going to be my pick there, but I'll let him slide. I'm not going to take JT this early. JT, I'm not fading JT necessarily, but I still want to see what the makeup of this team looks like overall. He is coming off the injury. He still averaged 91 yards per game last year, so he's a player. But if you guys know the way my teams have been building out this year, Jalen Waddle has been like my fucking guy. We put out our must draft round by round video today, me, Alex, and Noah. And Waddle was like our second round must draft guy. I'm so in on Waddle. Led the league in yards per reception, yards per target. His efficiency numbers were through the fucking roof. Tyreek Hill had a lot more in terms of targets, but on even when they were both on the field together and Tua was on the field, his numbers were crazy. He was averaging like 18 to 19 fantasy points per game. So obviously, a little bit hinges on Tua, but I'm all in on Waddle this year, if you can't already tell. See, there's just no chance I'm taking Chris Olave at the 206. So this is a half PPR league, and you do have to pay $3 to draft in these leagues. Obviously, if you win money. You're not just like donating money, of course, but it also means that all the drafts in the ADP, these are extremely addicting, but all the drafts and all the ADP is extremely, extremely sharp because people on here are drafting seriously because they're drafting for money and they're playing for money. So if you have not gone on Underdog, this is easily, by far and away, the best way to practice throughout the summer for your actual drafts when they come around, whether you're playing family, friends, or serious leagues. These are pretty sharp ADP. So you'll have a really good idea of value, right? And if you throw $10 onto your account on Underdog and you use our little old old code BDGE, they're going to hit you with a 100% deposit match. So you'll have $20 to play with, which means you'll have at least 6 drafts. You do one a week, you do one slow draft a week, boom, you're 6 drafts in. You're ready to roll. We had our first quarterback go off the board in Mahomes. Devontae Smith at 2.9 is kind of interesting. If you look at the second half of last year, he actually did out-target and outproduce A.J. Brown. Had a ton of air yards. Even in the games, like he was good when Dallas Goedert was gone, but even when Goddard came back the last month of the season, including the playoffs, Devontae Smith went crazy. So we got Waddle, we got Wilson, we got JT, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Chris Olave, Nick Chubb, Tony P., Devonta Smith, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Ramondre. Yep. So now that we're like with the audience and we're with my audience and we're playing 12 team instead of the tournament, we're seeing the running backs go a little bit earlier than in typical underdog drafts. Let's get to the chat a little bit. Smack that like. Correct. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button if you hanging around. If Tua stays healthy all season, Hill, Waddle could be both top 10. I mean, they were both top 7 last year, and Tua didn't stay healthy. Where does Hopkins go? Good question. Honestly, I've got no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in a random situation. We always try to predict these. Landing spots with stuff like this, and it usually is never right. I mean, it could definitely be the Bills or the Chiefs. It could definitely be Baltimore. It could be Houston. Makes a little bit of sense as well. Or Houston and Cleveland, I think actually kind of both make sense. Probably Atlanta. Super Bowl goes through us, you know. All right, at the turn, after Ramondre, we had T. Higgins, Derrick Henry in the 3rd round, still crazy to me. DK Metcalf, Jalen Hurts, Breece Hall, Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley. Wow, Ridley's really starting to move up. Ridley at the 3.7. I have Ridley, I think, as my wide receiver. What did I put him at? 17 or something? I did my rankings video last week. Let's get back to the queue to see what's going on. Mark Andrews just went off the board. Amari Cooper just got, God damn it, the 2 guys I really wanted. I don't want fucking anybody else. Jeez. Why you guys got to give me a fucking heart attack like this? This is so annoying. Cooper Jacobs. Such easy picks there. I don't want any of these running backs. I don't want D-Hop. Lamar. I guess I'll take Lamar. I feel like we're probably getting a little bit too high on Lamar. Like him going, I guess, above Fields and Burrow's not crazy, but you add the weapons, you add Todd Monken, you add all this stuff, and I guess we could see some upside. The one thing that concerns me, I was starting to go through my quarterback rankings for the year. Give me a second. Damn it, Najee would probably have been my pick. Gibbs, Kenneth Walker. Who do we got here? D-Hop, Mike Will, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen. I got Keenan Allen ranked above all these guys. He's probably the next guy up on my list here. Over the second half of last year, he was awesome. He was averaging like 85 yards a game. He was seeing 10 targets a game. He was really, really, really good. Nothing about his game at the end of the year, the last actually 9 games of the year, made me feel like he fell off in any sort of way. So I'll take Keenan as my 2. Now we got 2 Chargers players, which was kind of stupid. Unless Herbert falls to me as my QB2, which I don't think is going to happen, nor do I want to take him because I already have Lamar Jackson. But Lamar Jackson, one of the points I want to get across is he's supposed to throw the ball more in Todd Monken's offense. They're supposed to be a little bit more like spread. He's supposed to get some more pass attempts. And I was looking back at Lamar Jackson's rushing production, like what he does out of the pocket on design runs versus just scrambles. And basically a ton of his production comes from designed runs. Whereas I think it was like 77, something of near 70% comes from designed runs for Lamar Jackson's rushing production. At least last year it did. Whereas a guy like Josh Allen, over 50% of his rushing production came from scrambling. So I guess my concern with Lamar Jackson is obviously a huge percentage of his fantasy production comes by way of running. In Todd Monken's offense, if he is passing the ball more, it's not necessarily going to lead to more scrambles, or it's not going to lead to more rushing production, because we've seen Lamar Jackson, typically the majority of his rushing production actually come from design runs, not scrambling. Obviously, he'll put up numbers running the ball, but maybe not as high of a ceiling for fantasy because we are substituting running for passing. All right, Keenan Allen, Travis Etienne, DeAndre Hopkins. That's still too high for me. I don't know about D-Hop. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jerry Jeudy, Joe Burrow. I feel like Jerry Jeudy before Joe Burrow is crazy, and Justin Fields, Terry McLaurin, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Godwin. The more I think about J.K. Dobbins, the more and more I feel like he's one of the absolute like steals in the end of the fourth, early fifth round. I like Godwin as well. I think about like pairing him with Baker. If you look at who Baker, if you look at Baker's targets and where he went often in Cleveland, it was typically Jarvis Landry. Bro, you just took a sip of nothing. Yeah, I have a habit of just like moving my hands all the time when I'm live streaming, and I took a sip, and you're 100% correct. There's absolutely nothing in here. I just finished the water like 2 minutes ago. Sexy, if you're watching this, Sexy or Tony, if you're watching this, can you give me a cup of water, please, so I can not sip nothing? There goes Joe Mixon off the board. Saw content from a big fantasy football creator that I could see Hawkinson finishing as the tight end 1. How do you feel about that take? I mean, it just feels like a take to have a take. Like Travis Kelce's actually been the tight end 1 for like 5 straight fucking years. Why would Travis Kelce not name? If you can name a single good argument about why Travis Kelce isn't the tight end 1, like I'll listen to that. But there's absolutely no way that he debunked the reason for like Travis Kelce's the tight end 1 every single year because he's also target number 1 for Patrick Mahomes. There's not a world where Justin Jefferson is not the one there. And Jordan Addison coming in is going to hurt him too. All right, we got Miles Sanders. We got Dameon Pierce off the board. Yeah, there goes Justin Herbert. Didn't think I was going to get him, but don't really want him or need him. All right, we're sitting here at the 5'11". Let's see what we got. Oh, look who's at the top of the ADP. Look who's sitting there cheeked up. We don't have a tight end yet, and George Kittle is there. I like Kittle. Let's see. Do we like any wide receivers more? We'll take Kittle. See what Dylan and David Lee do. Do we double stack the tight ends here? I think I might double stack the tight end with Pitts. Or do we take Dalvin Cook and break this fucking news? You're taking Kittle with CMC there full time? Yeah. Of course I am. He's a perfect best ball pick too, Kittle, because I'll grab 3 tight ends and then just kind of let them rip. Or I'll grab 2 right now. No, I'm not going to do that. Kirk, Ayuk. I'll take Kirk there. I'll take Kirk as my 3. So far, we've got Lamar, Eckler, Jalen Waddle, Keenan Allen, Christian Kirk, and George Kittle. Yeah. Ayuk for the stack. The only problem with doing that is I'm not exactly sure what the quarterback situation is going to be. Like if we knew someone was going to be the quarterback for sure, like we think it's going to be Brock Purdy. We think it is going to be Brock Purdy over Trey Lance, but we don't know that for sure. We don't know if his timeline is really going to be week 1 or if it's going to be week 4 or Trey Lance somehow has a good offseason. So you almost need to use 2 slots or 2 quarterback spots in order to have a stack there, which I don't want to do. After Kirk, we got Ayuk, Kyle Pitts, Mike Evans, Dallas, Go Dirt, Joe Dirt. So apparently Sexy and Tony are not watching this because no one has brought me water. I'm thirsty. I feel like SpongeBob. I feel like Keenan and Kel in Good Burger. Water. I need water. Water. Goddard, Marquise Brown, Treylon Burks, Tyler Lockett. I love Lockett. I like Burks there too. I actually like all the wide receivers in this round. I feel like they're all pretty good fucking values. Jordan Addison's going to get a ton of targets in Minnesota. That team's going to be super pass heavy. Like if you look at Kirk Cousins' pass attempts over the last 4 years, there goes that man. As you can see, Dalvin Cook was picked. And I said I'd break the news when Dalvin Cook was picked in fantasy. So this is real. This is my first attempt at breaking news, even though I already tweeted it out. So make sure you're tweeting out for more breaking fantasy news. So I have a source. I have a source very close to Dalvin Cook's agent. I mean this in all sincerity. I know I joke around. I know I fuck around. I know no one ever takes me seriously. But I received a text message a couple hours ago that said, and I quote, Dalvin Cook is going to Buffalo or the Jets. Someone is very good friends with his agent, just texted him that, and he said it out loud. And I was like, I don't believe this. Is this real? He said, yeah, I know this person. They don't lie. He said it's between those two as of right now. I'll let you know when he decides. The Jets or Buffalo. Now, a lot of people are like, why isn't he cut? All this kind of shit. The post-June 1st cut or trade, either one, allows them more cap flexibility. They save money by cutting after June 1. You don't have to designate prior to June 1 in order to let somebody go. They also save money if they trade him after June 1 because they have to pay less of the salary. So that's what I have from 2 hours ago. It's real. It's a source. We're out here breaking fucking news now. I used to make videos in my mom's basement, and now I'm basically Dalvin Cook's agent. That was a bar. I didn't even mean to rhyme that shit right there. Someone clip it. Someone clip it. The Jets make no sense. Okay, the Jets make no sense except for the fact that they were linked to Jahmyr Gibbs the entire draft. They were like very strongly believed to want Jahmyr Gibbs. Breece Hall is coming back from the ACL tear. And as much as some fantasy guy on YouTube wants to tell you that I like Breece Hall this year, they still need another running back. They still need depth there. All right, we need another player here. James Conner, David Montgomery. I'm going D-Mont here. Here comes the YouTube short. Did you change your camera? Looks fucking great. High definition. I'm not sure what happened. It just started working really well. It just usually on Ecamm Live or StreamYard, which is the one I have, the one I use, it tends to oh, let me go back to the draft. I realized I wasn't even on there. Sorry, I took David Montgomery. James Conner just went off the board, and then I have the next pick after him, and I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going if he's available. Beautiful. I didn't want Brandon Cooks. I threw that in there for the double, triples, fake Rooski, Rashad Bateman. We stack him with Lamar Jackson. I am all in on Bateman. If there's going to be one player from Baltimore that I take this year in the wide receiver group, it is Bateman for sure. I don't think people understand. I don't think people understand exactly how good Lamar was with Bateman in the early going. The first 3 games of last year, Lamar Jackson threw 10 touchdowns. Then he gets hurt. Bateman gets hurt. He throws 7 touchdowns for the rest of the year. It was a problem. But when he's got these guys at full strength, Bateman, I think, is going to be his number 1. Buffalo, little bro would be so dope. That would be cool. Them two uniting. Dalvin Cook and James Cook. I don't know how many touches James Cook would get. Oh, did Jack get you into the source game now? Nope. It's Nicky's sources. He's got his own sources. Jets have Carter, Knight, and Abanikanda. Yeah, you just basically named the 3 of the most mid players in the history of backfields. Madison won't be the RB1 in Minnesota if Cook leaves. Madison will definitely be the RB1, but the question becomes, is he a fantasy RB1? I won't bet a lot on it. I'm not really trying to I'm not trying to bet too much on a guy that I don't believe is like that good of a running back. You know, like Madison's put up good statistics, but on a per carry per touch basis, he's not someone who typically thrives outside of really high volume. And he's not the 3-down guy that Dalvin Cook was there in Minnesota. So I would expect that to become some sort of a committee, or Dwayne McBride starts to take carries. I think they'll use multiple backs there outside of just Alexander Madison. Imagine Cook and Cook cooking. Yeah, hard to imagine it. How far blasting Madison if Cook is gone? I think Madison will end up being like a back end of the 3rd round pick. I'm interested to see how far he goes up, but I wouldn't take him until probably like the end of the 4th, 5th round. Yeah, he is a dog. Madison plus Juju for Dobbins. Yeah, I'd probably take Dobbins there for sure. Do you think Ty Chandler has a chance? I liked what I saw from Ty Chandler tape last year when I was looking at the rookie class. I didn't love it. I don't think he's really got the upside to be a 3-down guy. I think he could be a role player there. I think they'll probably end up using 3 backs. All right, so we got Bateman. This is such an interesting little battle here. Bateman versus Zay Flowers. Bateman at the 8-2, Flowers at the 8-5. I just like Bateman so much more. Again, just a quick reminder, if you are new to Underdog, if you have not signed up for Underdog, if you want to draft with us or against anybody, you're basically just practicing the best way possible for your drafts coming up in August, in September. Get ready now. Go download the app. The link is in the description. If it's your first time depositing, $10 or more, you're going to use the promo code BDGE. They're going to hit you with a 100% deposit match, okay? And they're actually doing a bunch of 0.5 point lines on their pick'em games throughout the NBA Finals, so that's also free money. So you put down 10, get 20 because of the promo code, then put that 20 on Jimmy Butler scoring 0.5 points over there, double that again before you know it. You got like a bajillion dollars. You got a bajillion dollars because I just gave you $10. That's crazy. So go download Underdog, use code BDG for the first time. Yo. All right, so we've got Javonte, Anthony Richardson, Brandon Cooks, Quentin Johnston, Zach Charbonnet. Where's my accent from? From France, you can't tell. Zach Charbonnet. David Njoku, love that pick. Devon A. Chain. Dalton Kincaid, while you going heavy on the rooks there, huh? Elijah Moore, Evan Ingram, Samaje Perine, Pat Fryermuth, AJ Dillon, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Rashad Penny. We need to get back on the clock. What do we got here? We've got 4 wide receivers. We've got 2 running backs, a tight end, 1 quarterback. We definitely don't need another quarterback right now. Jameson Williams off the board. Jameson Williams is a guy who in this type of draft I would not be taking, only because there's no need to be taking like risky players like that in a non-tournament style game. We got B-Rob. Ooh, we got both Washington running backs. I haven't taken any Brian Robinson, and I guess I'll diversify the revenue a little bit. I'll take B-Rob here. Brian Robinson had like an insane amount of games with 20-plus carries last year. I think they were pretty fucking clear about who they wanted to give the ball to, although Eric Bieniemy came in and is now calling the offense. But he had carry games of 17 carries, 20 carries, 26 carries, 15 carries, 18 carries, 21, 22, 24. Brian Robinson was getting a shit ton of carries. He was getting a shit ton of carries, but I do wonder if they're going to, like, they never really used running backs like that in Kansas City, where it was like one workhorse who was like a bigger dude who's like slow. I think Gibson probably fits that role a little bit better. Let's see what we got wide receiver wise. Don't really love any of the options here. Tight end, Schultz, Chiggy, Cole Kmet. Let's grab some 10th round Michael Thomas. Why not? Fuck it. He's our 5th wide receiver. Boy. Nicky leaks. That's what I'm talking about right there. We're leaking from all the holes. Pause. Anybody got any good questions for me? Nick E. leaks. God damn. Y'all are working today. Thoughts on Chig for next year? I keep hearing him as a breakout candidate based on yards per out run. Chiggy's a really tough one for me. I feel I watched him play in college. He played for Maryland, and I remember coming away from watching his tape, his film, and being like, he is so raw. He's so athletic. He's so raw that I don't know if he ever puts it together to be like a full-time tight end. And he didn't operate as a full-time tight end last year whatsoever. He continued to make big plays. I do worry that type of play, like just sporadic big plays, typically leads to super low floor. So that worries me a lot. I think Jordan tweeted out today that like Chiggy is going to be the OJ Howard of this generation, which I have a weird feeling about Chiggy that he's not really going to like, I don't know if come to fruition is the right word to use for a person. But I have a little bit of a hesitancy clicking draft on Chig. So I don't know if I'm going to be drafting a bunch from him this year. He's more of a wait and see for me. He's not someone I'm going out and like attacking right now, unfortunately. Like I think I'd take Colt Kmet over him. I think I would take Juwan Johnson over him right now. Like I don't mind drafting him. I just feel like he's just going too early. Nick, did your source mention whether Dalvin is more likely to get cut or traded? He'd almost have to be cut to go to the Bills with their cap. No, I did not get a mention on that. You also got to understand, though, like with things like that, where it's like to be cut to go to the Bills with their cap, they could give up a player in the trade that also opens up their cap. They could restructure the contract. There's a million different things that could happen in the way of this stuff. That can maneuver those things around. What is your opinion on Miles Sanders? I am a little bit nervous about him. I actually just filmed a dynasty trade video that's going to come out on Friday where I talked about Miles Sanders. If you're in any sort of like full PPR league, he is someone that I'm staying away from. He was like the running back 22 in PPR last year. He just doesn't really catch passes, and he's gotten worse and worse as a third down player since he's entered the league. So I'm not like really high on him. Rapid fire. Thoughts on Seahawks wide receiver situation? I like Metcalf, but I like Lockett way more where his ADP is. I think JSN is someone I would draft if he falls a little bit more. I think he could have obviously a second half or a big end of the year breakout, but I'm not looking to draft him over Lockett in redraft. I'm not looking to draft him super highly. It's just there are too many really good players there to expect like a high upside play there. Like DK Metcalf went for like 1,000 yards last year, and it was just them two. So I don't know. In an 8-man super flex, should I go wide receiver, running back first round? You can't. That's too difficult to tell right now. You kind of have to play it depending on who's on the board. I'm at the 105, so I would get Kupp or Tyreek first. Yeah, I mean, I like Kupp or Tyreek there. That's fine, I guess. I don't know who else is available, though. Almost back on the clock. So we had in the 11th round, Schultz, Jamal Williams, Rashee Rice, Jared Goff, Sky Moore, Chiggy, Jonathan Mingo, Adam Thielen, Cole Kmet, Damian Harris. Oh, shit, we are on the clock. Oh, boy. Ooh, kind of like Kendra here. Do you want to grab another quarterback? Not yet. We're going to take Zay Jones. I like Zay Jones a lot. Oh, man, this is bad. I don't have Trevor Lawrence, but I have Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Well, good news is if something happens to Calvin Ridley, then I have insurance on both of those guys. I also think both of them can produce at a high level. I think Christian Kirk will go for 70 and 900 and 6 touchdowns. Zay Jones will be 650 to 700-yard receiver. I think they'll both be fine. Nice pick with Gallup. He was going to be my next guy. I'm going to take Juwan Johnson here. I feel really good about him being a player in New Orleans this year. I don't think people realize how athletic this dude is. We go nuts for athletic tight ends. This guy's 240 pounds, runs a fucking 4.58. 4.58. Would you ever consider hiring a DFS expert? No. Well, not right now. Do you like clam chowder? No. Can you explain why people don't like drafting Michael Thomas? I always see people saying they don't want to take him, but I never hear why. Okay, this is interesting because, and I believe you started playing fantasy last year for the first time, so this makes sense that you don't know what's happening with Michael Thomas. Basically, like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, Michael Thomas was the best player in fantasy football, the best wide receiver by far. I don't know if he finished as the number 1 overall player, but he was incredible. Set a record for most catches in a season, just dynamite shit. So the next year, everybody drafted him really highly, and then he got hurt. And then he missed most of that next season. And then when he came back the next offseason, he was supposed to – there was a bunch of shit that happened where he just kept re-injuring his foot. And then he was like supposed to get surgery on it and then didn't get surgery on it. And because he didn't, then he eventually ended up deciding to get surgery like 4 months later and then had to miss more time. So he turned into being like the best player in the NFL, the best wide receiver in the NFL, to someone who basically missed like 3 years of football in a row because of this one fucking foot injury that he had. And then there was a lot of smoke and fire around like the Saints head coach staff or the Saints coaching staff that him and Michael Thomas were having problems. So before you know it, he went from like in his prime 25 and dominating to an older wide receiver coming off of like foot surgeries and all these injuries and all this nonsense about him not being able to play football anymore. He just burned a lot of fantasy players year after year after year. Like every year, everybody was basically drafting him being like, oh, no, he's good. He's got the whole offseason to get healthy. He's got the whole offseason to get healthy. Like he'll be good this year. He'll be back. And then the same thing just kept happening year after year after year. He just hasn't been good on a fantasy football field, or on a football field, I should say, in a fantasy football roster in like 3 years at this point. So it's a lot of bad tastes in a lot of bad people's mouths. The money that they are paying for Miles Sanders makes me think that they will run him into the ground. Yeah, I mean, possibly. I also, what do you get? Like 4 for 24? That's like $6 million a year. I feel like that's the same amount that like Chase Edmonds got last year. I get it. Following the money is typically the right way to look at things, but I also feel like that's more um like bumper kind of lanes. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of times where a player gets a contract, player gets money, and then they're just not good, you know? All right, we're close to being back up on the clock. We have 6 wide receivers. We could probably start looking at running backs now. There's a couple interesting ones. Um, you know, one of the things I typically say is when there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't know if we've seen more reports about anybody in football right now than with Jerome Ford just being the clear number 2 behind Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb's going to fucking eat. Nick Chubb is going to go crazy this year behind a really good offensive line, but Jerome Ford can play that Kareem Hunt opportunity role. He's not as good as Kareem Hunt as a runner. He's certainly not as good as a pass catcher. But if Ford's going to get a lot of touches, I really, really like him, 13th, 14th round here because he'll probably get 100, 120 touches. And I don't know if I could say that for any of the guys here. I don't know. Jerome Ford always felt like a straight line runner to me, and I almost feel he's kind of like a poor man's version of Nick Chubb. So he'll be a breather back there. Who else do we need? We could probably take another QB. We're staying away from Murray because I don't know how many games he's going to play. Stafford's been relatively banged up. He seems kind of healthy. Do we have any stacks available to us? Not Miami, not the Chargers, not Jacksonville. We already got Lamar, and Derek Carr is gone. All right, so it's kind of nice not having stacks because in a big brain way, now we don't have to worry about not having stacks, you know? So we'll see what happens here. I don't want to say things with Dylan and David Lee on the clock because I feel like he's going to take who I want. Hey, all right, we'll take Stafford here. I don't know. I've only heard good reports. I've only heard that he's ready to rip this year. So I'll go Stafford here as my QB2. Four keeps: J Herb, C Mac, D Adams, and Amon Ra. Trade Amon Ra for Bijan 101. This is like the most confusing question of all time. I don't know the scoring settings. I don't know the league settings with quarterback situations. I don't know much here. Is this dynasty? Like, I'm confused. If this is super flex, I'm keeping J Herb, C Mac. I am trading Amon Ra for Bijan. Oh, you need four. Either way, I'm trading Amon Ra for Bijan if it's keeper league. Yeah. I have a 48.5% Alexander Madison share so far, so Dalvin leaving would be nice. I mean, here's the thing. Like, yeah, Madison, I feel like is a value right now, where he's going in these drafts. So if you got him up to this point, you probably got him at a good price. Kendre is a beast. He really is. I love Kendre Miller is one of my favorite backs in this class by far. I just have trouble seeing where he fits into the offense right now. Like if Alvin Kamara just doesn't miss time, if his legal situation like ends up getting pushed again and he's just the back there's not really a chance that Kendrick just takes over his role. That being said, though, I was watching, I saw some Dalvin Cook highlights, like college highlights on the Twitter timeline yesterday. And Kendrick really reminds me of Cook. Not as explosive, but like very similar running styles. Any week, Juwan Johnson can score. Yep, that's what I mean. Like if you draft 2 or 3 tight ends, you just need one of them to score a touchdown weekly. Do you believe Olave can finish as a wide receiver 1 this year? Yeah, of course. I mean, getting in that wide receiver 11, 12 spot's not crazy. What do you think about Juju this year with the Pats? I don't love it. I don't really know about like their offensive system this year, but Jacoby Myers was like a pure separator. Juju is like the opposite of that. He cannot separate. He cannot separate for shit. So I worry a little bit about Mac Jones trusting Juju. Mac Jones has always thrown the ball to just dudes who are fucking incredible separators. Go back to Alabama with Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle and Jacoby's a good separator. Like those are the guys who end up racking up receptions. Juju's not that guy. Thoughts on Najee? What tier of running backs do you fit him in? He's my RB, I think 14. So he's in the tier with like Aaron Jones, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, dudes that I'm like weary about, but would really hate having them. Random question. What about Malik Davis in Dallas if they don't sign a running back? Seems like someone has to step in and fill Zeke's role, assuming they don't sign Cook or Fournette. Yeah, I mean, maybe they like Malik Davis. I honestly, I'll be transparent, I don't know much about Malik Davis. Let's look up his profile. The way that they're set up right now, I really still would be surprised if they don't bring in a veteran. Malik Davis is 5'9", 202 pounds, and runs a 4.7, 140. That's not very encouraging to play the Zeke role. Oh, shit, we're on the clock. Oh, shit, we on the clock. Do we want a fifth running back? Wow, Deonta Foreman's still available. He was like the top running back last year. He was good. Jeff Wilson, Miami. Jeff Wilson, I feel like, is a super sharp late pick in these drafts, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't believe that they're going to have a workhorse in Miami. I don't believe that A-Chain or Mostert or Jeff Wilson will take over as a workhorse. But if you look at the makeup of the backs, Mostert's small and fast. Devon A-Chain, small and fast. Jeff Wilson very well could be the goal line back in Miami. He could just not. He could end up putting up 700 rushing yards, 600 rushing yards, like not even being the RB1, and still score 8 to 10 touchdowns. They didn't score a ton of rushing touchdowns last year, but that could be different this year. They're on the goal line a lot. You know, this is going to be a very good offense. All right, so we've got 2 quarterbacks, running back, 5 wide receivers. Do we want another tight end? No one here that I'm interested in. We probably want to go with another wide receiver. MVS, I don't hate in best ball because he'll have his spike weeks. He'll probably be starting in 2 wide receiver sets for some dumbass reason. Yeah, I guess we'll take – what did MVS even do last year? God, he was terrible. 81 targets, 687. He's not going to be the guy this year, though. I think I'd rather take the young upside. I think I'd rather take – Tyquan Thornton's kind of like MVS, but just much younger. Yeah, so to go back to Malik Davis, like 5'9", 202, undrafted free agent, 4'7", 140, does not give me a ton of optimism. And you look at, who's the other guy back there? Deuce Vaughn, who's like fucking 107 pounds. So I feel like I would be shocked if they don't bring in a veteran that's 210 plus pounds. Again, there's a handful of good ones available. Lenny and Kareem Hunt, and you know, there might be a guy that could fit the Dallas system like Zeke. So, all right, that was my 15th and 16th overall pick. We've got 2 rounds remaining. Thoughts on Chuba Hubbard late in draft? I think Chuba Hubbard is straight up just like not good at football, so he's not a guy I like to draft. Although I have been taking on him a little bit. I have been taking him a little bit just because there's nothing else in Carolina behind Miles Sanders. And if you want to hedge Miles Sanders not being good, then this makes sense because the Carolina backfield is always given their backs a ton of touches. Even like, you know, tons of games when C-Mac has missed time, they've always actually produced fantasy points at a really high level for being as bad of an offense as they've been the last few years. Kind of surprising. But on their depth chart, running back wise, it is Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, and then it's fucking Raheem Blackshear, Spencer Brown, like dudes you never heard of before. But I don't hate Chuba. What do you think about my team in the 109? Let's check it out. It's 12, 11, 10, 9. So humongous. A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Amari Cooper. I hate that you snagged Amari Cooper from me. Damian Pierce, Kyle Pitts, George Pickens, Tua. Yeah, I really like what you did here. Really like what you did. I think you waited the perfect amount to grab your quarterback. I really like Tua. I'm not a huge fan of Pickens. I definitely would have taken Dotson went before him. I like these running backs a little bit more than I like George Pickens, but overall I like it. Like Cooper, Hopkins, I'm not a huge fan of either this early because I'm a little bit weary about the situation and where he lands. But Damian Pierce, Kyle Pitts at the 5-6, I really like. I think you did well for a fucking narc. Roschon Johnson or Deonta Foreman. I'll probably just draft Roschon Johnson because he's just more fun to draft right now. They already brought in their veteran Ronald McDonald. That's true. I forgot about Ronald Jones. Any upside with Anthony Richardson year one? Yeah, that's about all he has. He doesn't have a floor in year one, but he's got some fucking upside. I'll tell you that. I haven't been drafting much of him just because I feel like he's gone too high. He's starting to go way too high. So I'll let other people draft him unless he falls a little bit. Every once in a while, I want to have a little bit of fun, and I'll take a Rich. It's also easy to stack with other players on the Colts because no one else is really going that high. Like Michael Pittman, obviously, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, I have a lot of. So rate my team on a scale of 10 to 10, drafted at the 101. On a scale of 10 to 10, drafting at the 101, I'm going to give you a 1. Either a 1 or a 0. You could choose. A lot of 1s, a lot of 0s, and that's your only option. Team stinks. Ooh, Chase. I like Chase Claypool for fucking no reason. Do you dare me? Do you dare me to stack Mac Jones with Tyquan Thornton? The most dangerous stack you never heard of? Jimmy Garoppolo. Do we grab? I think I want to grab another running back. Zach Evans. I don't hate behind Cam Akers. Michael Carter, James Robinson. Malik, the peak, the beak. Do we take Ronald Johnstein? Hell no. Wow, the double QB at the end here. No, we're not about that. I do think we should probably take a third tight end or a third quarterback. Purdy, Mac Jones, Baker Mayfield. Damn it, I didn't stack fucking anybody. Let's take another tight end. Who do we like? Jelani Woods, Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry. I hate all of these options. Holy shit. Fuck it. Jelani. The tree himself. Nick, rate my team. I'm at the 110. All right, I'll give you guys quick ratings. Let's see. You're right in front of me. Kelsey, Wilson, Jacobs, Etienne, Pittman, Ayuk. Don't love Watson, Jones are okay. Jameson Williams, I feel like in this format, it's a little too risky. Damian Harris, I'm a little bit nervous about. Odell Beckham stinks. Tyler Jurr stinks. I'm giving your team a fucking 5.5, brother. I really good first half. Like rounds 1 through 7, 8, don't hate. Rounds 9 through 18, hate to be seen. Rate my team 109. I think I already did your team. I already looked at your team. Please tell me you drafted Jordan Love. I will tell you I didn't draft Jordan Love. I like Tyler Scott and the Bears. I love Tyler Scott from the Cincinnati Bears. Bearcats, I guess. God, you're so cute. Facts. Wait, what? Ersh? I've got Bijan, Brees, Dobbins, Brian Robinstein at wide receiver. Blah, 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 blah. What are your thoughts of me offering Brees for Burks in London? I guess I don't hate it because I really like London a lot, and you're getting 2 high upside wide receivers. Could probably get more. But I guess people might be. You don't really have a lot of depth at running back, man. Like, I don't trust Robinson long term. I don't really trust Dobbins long term in that Ravens backfield. You might be looking at a really terrible running back room really quickly, where I feel like your wide receiver depth is really good, or your top wide receivers are really good. Rate my team. Oh, so y'all are all in here. Morgan Hart, rate my team 105. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I'll rate y'all's teams if you're in the Discord and you draft with us. Discord, free to join. First link in the description. Tyreek Hill, Tony Pollard, Breece Hall. I love that start. Justin Fields. Ooh, bro, you killed this draft. I fuck with this draft heavy. Sure. Don't love Wandell, but, 15th round. Lenny, I would stay away from these dudes, I think, until they're signed. Look, Musgrave. Overall, I like this team a lot. I give this a hard 8 out of 10. Maybe better. Roshan or Dante in keeper. Deonta Foreman. If you're asking that question, you should quit. Yeah, facts. He has RB depth. Nah, I mean, dude, in Dynasty, man, RB depth fucking swindles quickly, man. RB depth dies quick. One injury and this team is out of RB depth. 101, you spoon. Holy shit, this is going quick. Is the draft over? Yeah, it is. Okay. 101, let's see. Terrible. Dalton Kincaid, fucking fantastic. Terrible. Tyler Conklin, fantastic. Otherwise, so bad. Yeah, why would you stay away until signed? That's when they'll rise in 8. I just don't know if they're. I don't know if he's getting signed. That's the thing. Like, you might just be wasting a spot. I'd rather take the. I'd rather miss on whatever Leonard Fournette's going to give you this year and not have him on my teams than draft him. All right, y'all. I'm gonna dip out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. We'll be doing more streams. We do 3 streams a week. So make sure you got notifications on for the channel, because that will notify you when we go live. Otherwise, you ain't never going to know. You ain't never going to know. You ain't never going to know shit unless you got my sources anyways. I know everything. Nikki sources, baby. Nikki clicky. Nikki clickbait. Nikki thumbnail. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, and most of all, obviously, join the Discord. People are talking fantasy in there all day. That's where I drop the links to the mock, but make sure you're on Underdog as well. Promo code BDGE when you sign up for a 100% deposit match. Noah will be dropping a video tomorrow. I will have a Dynasty trade grade video Friday. So again, subscribe, and you'll see all that sheesh. I love you. Mwah.